tired of being tired.
Yeah.
I spend every day trying to engage our community and having a conversation about our diversity. And while it's great that we're all here today and morning, I shouldn't say it's great. While it's a good sign of community that we're here in mourning, we need to be together, not just for the unfortunate incidents that happen. We need to be together 365 days a year, because I see on a daily basis the atrocities that happen locally. I deal with the young African American who was beat up because his father is religious and wanted to beat the gay out of him. I deal with the young Latina teenager who got kicked out of her home for being transgender because her family were very religious. And when we invite our faith leaders to sit down with us, very few show up. And so while I'm so pleased to see leaders within the Muslim community here, I ask you to let's start this dialogue tomorrow and have a better understanding of our diversity. I can't help but realize that the perpetrator was a person of color, and the majority of the victims were people of color. And yet, even within our own community, we ignore the issues that impact our LGBT people of color. 40% of women in prison identify as LGBT. 20 to 40% of our youth in foster care identify as LGBT. In both cases, the majority are people of color. And yet the majority of our advocacy within the LGBT community has a very white, gay, male focus. And I would even argue a white, gay, male Christian focus. We need everybody. I need to understand what my young Muslim siblings are going through at home when they're not being accepted. I need to understand where my young Latino Catholic siblings are going through for not being accepted. But I can't understand, I can't get to that point if we're not having a conversation and a dialogue. And while it's tragic that we lost 49 individuals, we have just as many individuals on a daily basis in Stockton, in San Joaquin County, who endure horrible acts against them simply for being LGBT. And we can't have that. We can't have that. In particular, our transgender family members. And then within that, our transgender women of color, who are more likely to be in prison than have a job. They are more likely to be a sex traffic worker than to have a job. And we're not even talking about that. We're not even talking about it, and it's happening here. So I look forward to us continuing this conversation and working together as true neighbors. And hopefully we'll be able to prevent something like this happening here. And I appreciate Reverend Miller for you inviting me. And I hope this is the start of a long conversation.
Thank you. Yeah.